One, hey, two, hey, one, hey, two, hey, three, hey, four, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey.
Welcome. I'm LaDios Muhammad, an actor with purpose.
I'm Rav'n Moon, an actor with passion.
And we are actors
from the dark side.
So how you been, Rav'n?
Wonderful. How about yourself, LaDios?
Oh,
been a long time.
I know. Well, as we know, theater's open and so is film, so it's been amazing. Finally got a little break and everything going on.
Yes.
Had an interesting thing happen to me yesterday. It was so fun. So I gotta show you this. I totally gotta show you this.
Yes, please.
So there's this old show called Emergency.
Okay.
They show it on Me TV. So anyway, I ran into this. I was doing some business, and I ran into this actor. His name is Ron Pinkard. He played Dr. Mike Morgan. Dr. Mike Morgan on Emergency.
Yeah.
They still show the reruns today. Look on the back of Emergency 51. I'm super stoked. So anyway, he totally autographed my journal. We did a little video that we're gonna post on Instagram. But I was like, so he's been an actor in the 50s. He used to be, he's been with Will Burr and what's that show called? Mr. King? The one I always love, the lawyer show. With William Burr?
Perry Mason.
Perry Mason.
Oh, Perry Mason.
Yes, he was friends with,
Yeah.
am I saying it Will Burr? Will Burr. Okay, anyway.
Sure,
So that was like the highlight of my day yesterday.
How did you run into him? That's so cool.
So I was notarizing some documents for him. So I'm a notary sign agent. And so I'm talking and I try to, make little conversations. Anyway, I was like, so what do you do? He goes, I'm an actor. I was like, oh my God, I was super stoked. And so he was like, yeah. He was telling me about his SAG and he was just saying, he said he dated Pam Grier.
Oh!
Jackie Brown.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, you really love Pepper.
And Jackie Brown lives, Pam Grier lives here.
Yeah,
she lives here. She lives in Castle, somewhere out in Castle Rock or whatever.
Sure.
But anyway, it was
She's
really a great conversation. He said, go after your dreams. Don't give up. He was like, and I was like, oh, that was the best, the highlight of my day. So that's been going on.
I love that. It's so great to receive unexpected inspiration, and when you just stumble across somebody, but they light a fire under your, and get you going a little bit. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
On my end, I've been able to do a couple of auditions, so that's been feeling good. Getting back into the grind of going to an actual audition, getting to do a cold read. I love a cold read.
Yeah.
So anyways, I had a great time yesterday. Got to pretend to be Dracula for a little while. Production that's coming up with a theater company called Arts in the Open. This is a really cool theater company. If you're in Colorado, what they do is they go to Chautauqua Park, which is where the big Flatirons are in Boulder, and they basically do the production where you get a little blanket and some water, and you start a little hike, and you'll stop at one spot, and they'll do a scene, and then you hike up the mountain a little bit more, and they do another scene, and it's really cool, probably about 9 scenes in all, so once you get to scene 4 or 5, then you start coming back down. Really gentle trails for older people, for younger people, so if you're here in Colorado, even if you're not, check out Arts in the Open, fantastic theater company. I love everybody that works there, and it was a great experience auditioning with them.
Oh, well,
yeah.
I so hope you get that because I like outdoorsy. So
maybe we should do it and do a review. The production will be in September, so whether or not I get cast, let's go and support the group. So,
absolutely.
We'll
my God.
bring it to you.
But I hope you get cast because I will be there.
I had a lot of conflict, so I'm not holding myself in, but whatever. It was so fun.
Do you see why Colorado is amazing? Amazing. We think outside of the box. We
always have.
You know what? If you don't know, you're going to know today. So anyway, we're doing What Today?
Oh my goodness, it's time for another movie review. And we're going to be bringing you In the Heights from Lin-Manuel Miranda. How fun, LaDios.
So we just want to know, we know that this movie came out, I believe it was June 10th.
Yes.
But let me tell you something about that. we're coming from a different perspective of how we do our reviews, and movies don't stop just because they're not in the theaters anymore, or
That's
they just
right.
aired. Oh my God, I just got a haircut and hair's all over my face. Okay, anyhow, but yes. First of all, this is a musical, right?
Yes.
It took me a minute to get motivated to watch. I like musicals, but I have to be in a mood.
Ooh, tell me about it.
Yeah, so when you recommended it, I was like, okay, yeah. But it took me I had to get pumped up.
Yeah. Both of us obviously did because we were calling each other Friday night.
Yeah,
have you
watched
seen it yet?
I mean, we waited to the last minute. We literally watched it yesterday. But yeah, I love musicals, but I totally have to be in the mood. And once we start it, and we're going to cover a couple of actors, and then we're just going to give what did we feel about it,
Yeah. Let's get into it.
So,
Sure.
Corey Hawkins.
Yes. Yes.
I am so super stoked to see Corey Hawkins doing some just major roles. The first time I ever seen him was Straight Outta Compton.
Mm-hmm.
He is blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
He's totally blowing up. And the next person that was in there, he plays Benny. He plays Benny. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The next person would be Leslie Grace, who played Nina Rosario, who was a student. Oh, LaDios, back up real fast.
Yeah.
Who's the director?
Oh, it is Jon M.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't look up any previous directorial movies that he had. Are you familiar
did
with?
Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh!
And I'm pretty sure that's what got him to the
I
top.
loved Crazy Rich
Mm-hmm.
Agents. I wish we could have did a review on that, but that was
that would be
hilarious.
good. Okay.
But yes,
interesting.
Jon M. I actually love what he did. So,
Cool.
so thank you for that.
Of course,
All right,
of course.
moving right along.
Sure thing. And then there's Melissa Barrera, who played Vanessa and was also the lead. I'm not familiar with her other previous roles. Was this her breakout?
Mm-hmm.
I think this was her breakout
Maybe,
role.
yeah.
So pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have, let's see, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Mr. Peregrino. He was the
And the writer.
Yes, and he also wrote a lot of the songs. I did watch
Yes.
him when he wrote a lot of the songs. Also, the lead actor was Anthony Ramos, who he played Usanavi. Anthony Ramos played Usanavi de la Vega. I first noticed him, and
Crown Royal.
Yeah. Well, and She's Gotta Have It, the TV series.
Okay.
So that was the first time I noticed him, and now he's been doing the Crown Royal commercials, and he's totally taken off.
He really has.
Mm-hmm.
I know I recognized him right away from the Crown Royal ads because there's just so many.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The Crown Royal ads were very simpatico with a lot of the things that they did in the Heights. I'm
Yes!
like, oh yeah, here he is walking through the barrio.
Yes!
You
seen that too?
Yes,
Yes,
I definitely
and-
did.
yeah,
So
go
he's
ahead.
quite the striking actor. And then after that we have Dash Polanco, and she played Kuka. And you'd know her from Orange is the New Black. She's such a phenomenal actress, so believable in everything that she does, and really fun to watch.
Good.
Oh, sure. And then we have Jimmy Smits. And if you don't know who Jimmy Smits is, well, you might just not be an American. Just kidding. Yes.
Man, I was thrilled to see Jimmy Smits. I was super thrilled. He was amazing.
He really was.
And I remember when I was a lot younger, I had a major crush on him. I just was like,
He's so attractive.
Yeah, and he's
Oh, my
aging
goodness.
he's aging so beautiful. But I was really surprised to see Mark Anthony, who played Mr. De La Vega.
Oh.
Yeah, Mark Anthony. He was the skinny. He was Sonny's father.
Okay.
That was because he was the uncle of Usanavi. That he wanted to get permission to take Sonny with him.
That's right.
Yeah, and so he looked. Oh wow, it was interesting. He looked rather thin.
Yeah.
Mark Anthony looked rather thin. Like he was.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
who is the last person?
Oh,
there?
and our last would be Gregory Diaz the fourth, who played Sonny de la Vega, and he was equally a standout in another group of I think breakout artists. You know, him and Melissa Barrera. I'm not really familiar with, but they both were amazing. So yeah.
So let's shoot. Let's talk about this. There's a lot of things that just touch me. I mean, I got a little emotional during some areas.
I was surprisingly emotional.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in the theater last night, like, gosh, why are you bawling like this? Is it the music? Because being an Afro-Latina American, the music was, you know, it just touched my soul. And, you know, just, so many depictions of the barrio, like, I was like, oh my gosh. But the storyline of this young girl who is loved and supported by her community, to the point that she's able to break the odds and get into Stanford and, you know, really on a path to making a new way for herself and again, for the people in her community. She represents so much. And she's back from college and she's really lost. And she's really kind of bewildered because what she thought college was going to be and what she thought she was stepping into is so different from what she expected, and it hurt watching her come back and talk about how much she missed her family and that support and how lonely she was on her new path and all of that. So I was very surprised by how emotional I got by that.
Let's touch on that because I those intimate scenes where she talked about how she went to a really prestigious event, and she was dressed in a beautiful black cocktail dress, and someone came up to her and said, "Hey," you know, trying to give her a dish, and then on the other hand were the prejudices where they talked about how her roommate necklace was missing, and they searched her, and you know, like I'm trying to see, like, have you ever experienced that yourself or felt that way? I mean, and I know I worked for a prestigious university, and I did feel, I mean, I have an education, and I felt like I wasn't as you know, like there's still some judgments. I remember, you know, because I was an administrative assistant, and they were supposed to give me a credit card so I can order the supplies. Well, they were like, "Oh, you could use mine," like as if I'm going to steal.
Exactly.
You know, so
petty cash was never an issue.
Yes.
Until when I was working at the Education Policy Organization, which was Lily, until I started working there. Like petty cash was kind of an issue all of a sudden, and it's like, wait a minute, you didn't care about having this little box of money before that people could check in and check out until the black was there, you know. So absolutely, I felt those things, and again, you know, it's like this poor girl, she's supposed to be being honored at this event, and yet somebody so rudely treats her like a server, a wait staff. So definitely those feelings of being, what is it? Maybe less deserving, or I don't know, like you're not supposed to be in that position.
Right. She was struggling with the fact that she's like, on one end, all the people that look like me are like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
How are you going to handle it?
Yeah.
Are you going to talk crazy to them?
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, it's like, well, I'm supposed to be here, and I shouldn't have to feel guilty for being here.
Right.
Yeah, that would. Oh, loved it. I love it.
Yeah, I love that too.
I totally love that.
I love that too. And then, you know, what's his name? Uznabi. Uznabi, yes, which is Uznabi, and it came from his father seeing the U.S. Navy ship. That's where his name came from, which is really cute. That's really cute.
Yeah.
And he is on a quest just to get back to his home, the Dominican Republic, and you know, but he's in love with Vanessa, and Vanessa is also on a quest to get out of the barrio. She has an eye for fashion, and she wants to be a designer, and she's in Manhattan, and you can do it in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have conflicting dreams, because as much as he loves her and maybe she loves him, they want different things out of life. So that's the other conflict that kind of poked its head.
Yeah. And once again, the microaggressions start. She goes with her her application, and she was like, "Oh, I meant to call you today. You need a co-signer."
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. And this is stuff that's still perpetuated today. So yeah, there's a lot of things. Even let's keep going with Mr. Peter Gueno. The guy who sold the snow cone.
Yeah.
We keep it here.
There was one gentleman that was also trying to sell not snow cones, but ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a little bit of, an interaction, which is really actually quite funny, because Mr. Periguano gets on the truck, and kind of hits his truck and runs away and sprays snow cone juice on the people's ice creams as he's walking by. Like, how dare you take our business and take our not play well. So that was an interesting little bit of comic relief.
I totally love that, because I felt like it kind of was a subliminal message about how they're coming and gentrifying the neighborhood.
Yes.
Starting with an ice cream cup, and then we're gonna have that, and then you have Haagen-Dazs, and all these big ice creams, but no one's coming in. And the main thing is, like, nobody's coming through the community to really service the community. They're coming to feed off the community and bleed the community. So I totally loved his character.
Yes, and then it goes into the layers of let's see, not Vanessa, Nina's dad. And Nina is the girl that gets accepted into Stanford.
That's
and her father, Jimmy Smith, he has a very successful taxi cab company that's been servicing the community for years. And now that his daughter's pursuing her dream, he's had to sell half of the business. And in the middle, we find out that she's lied to her dad and said that, he can't pay for her tuition. And he calls the school and finds out that he can. So he sells the business fully, which was really heartbreaking, that, we have to make these choices in America, like either educate your children or be successful, or if you're in that kind of thing where maybe you had something successful and might have to trade it so that your child can be successful. So that was an interesting layer to me, because you could really see the anguish, not only with the family, but with the whole community, because again, this business was serving the community, and Nina's love interest, Corey Hawkins, Benny, is working at her father's dispatch or taxi cab company, and he sees a future there. So his dreams are also kind of broken when these choices are made. So so there were a lot of layers, a lot of conflict.
Did you notice how Nina came in, her hair was all straight?
Yeah,
and then she's back in it, she's like, I'm wearing it natural, like back in. Being like her,
I like that.
Her different ethnicity. I love that.
And it was a really subtle message, wasn't it?
Yes, it was very. It's like I'm trying to emulate while I'm at Stanford to ride with everybody. You can stay there, baby. And but then at the same time, I'm coming home, and she kept saying, I just want to smell the air. I just want to hear. I just want to hear New Evanor. I just want to hear the barrio. I just want to hear it.
Yes,
and I know those struggles, but it's so funny because we program our children to say, go to school and get a job. But the ultimate thing is go to school and get a job, but you're not like, what am I going to do after I go to school? And what kind of job? You got to have some kind of passion with this, you know?
Right.
So I love that. The $96,000 song.
That was
the lottery
fun.
ticket.
That was fun.
I love that.
That was fun. And the dancing, the choreography was off the friggin' chain.
Yes.
I mean, just amazing. I almost was wishing for more choreography toward the end when it was more just songs, you know. I was like, no, do the big number again. So the choreography I just couldn't get enough of. Yeah. I know, for me, and this might have just been because it was getting a little late, and you know, this is kind of my little sticky thing. Right. This is my sticky point. I hate movies that run too long, and I could have used some editing. Anyways, like,
seriously,
just one song could have been cut. No, I was just tired.
Yeah, she went to go see the movie at like 10 o'clock.
It was.
So, and I get it because but for me, I love the $96,000 song, and there's something that stood out. You have to catch it. You have to catch it. So he was like, yeah, even if you get $96,000, he was like, the IRS is gonna take half of that. Did you catch that in the song? And so like one of the things I loved about Chu, and also let me make sure I say Lin-Manuel Miranda, who plays Mr. Paraguando, who wrote a lot of the songs, is that these songs had really conscious messages in them. I love when they went through the history of all the women. Yeah, that was great. For me, I love conscious movies that are fun and educational. Yeah. And there was just a lot of beautiful cinematic things. Even the gossiping. That was fun. The gossiping in the the hair salon, and then they were moving out. You know, that also, like, you want to expand your business because there is a struggle about, should I stay in the barrio or should I expand so we can have, expand our tentacles out so everybody can have this service. Because I don't think you can grow just within your own backyard. You do, and there's a struggle between those two, that thin line of, I still want to be connected to my roots, but yet I gotta get out of the barrio. So. Yeah,
it was definitely poignant. I think most Colorado people would love this movie just because Colorado is being gentrified on such a grand level that it very much felt like Denver, like, okay, there's no longer a north side, it's the Highlands. That kind of thing where a lot of the flavor is getting kind of swept away because people want to build their Cracker Jack mansions that everybody look alike, but that's not, there's no flavor in that. There's no soul in everybody being the same. So that part really kind of touched home for me. I love the backdrop of the blackout. I thought that was really cool to add, and that was a good kind of time marker. And then I really loved that there was a little bit of a surprise. The way that it starts out with Usnavi speaking to the children, and they're on a beautiful beach. There's a little bit of a twist and a surprise at the actual ending. So you think you know how it's going to end.
I knew how it was going to end.
I thought, it was going to be him and Vanessa traveling off to the Dominican and starting a family. Right. So of course they kind of twist that all around at the end. And they stay home and they find their paradise right underneath their feet, which is a poignant message. That saying, the grass is always greener on the other side. Well, maybe the grass could be just green on your side if you just water it. So maybe just appreciating the things that are in front of you, and appreciating your community, and appreciating the people that are around you versus dreaming about something better. That was a nice message, of appreciation and gratitude.
I'm glad you said that. One of my spiritual advisors, he was Native American, and I always used to get cleansings 3 or 4 times a year with him. God rest his soul, I miss you so much, Art. I mean, straight Native American. He went to like the Sundance every year. It was a big thing, but he always said, I kept saying, I need to go to Mexico or just somewhere abroad and just study for a month and learn my Spanish so I could get fluent. He was like, sometimes something you're looking for is right in your own backyard. And I think we're always looking outside of ourselves, outside of our communities, when we have every single resource that we need, but we collectively need to come together. And that's what I loved about this movie. If there was one major takeaway that made me very emotional, because when I grew up, it was community. community was big, and the matriarch, and I did not write her name, but it was the
the abuela.
Abuela. There's always an abuela in your community. There's always someone you can go to. I remember just, you would start off with Saturday, and you might go hang out with your cousin, walk a mile up the street to your cousin's house and hang out on the porch, or then you might go to Abuela, she's a matriarch, and just go hang out with her. She'd make you some lunch and fix you, spend 3 or 4 hours, and you might go up to Mrs. Johnson's house and stuff, and then later on you hook back up with your friends, you go to the park, like they all went to the swimming pool, we go to the park and we watch people play basketball, and and then they might like, hey, let's just throw a big old cookout. But community was so big, and everybody got together, whether they were like not talking to each other or they had problems, they always got back together. And that was my biggest takeaway about community. And I'm glad you mentioned about Denver, about Denver being gentrified, because I feel like our community is just,
it's dwindling every day.
Yeah, that's what
day.
Made me emotional. I was super emotional about that, and I feel like Mr. Jon Chu did a very excellent job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the directing, everything was really off the chain, production quality. It was a whimsical experience. Like you said, you got to be in the mood for a musical. But once you let yourself go there, it's usually a pretty darn good experience.
Yeah.
So do you have a rating for this one, LaDios?
Yeah, I would say I'll give it an A. A good, as you would say, a solid A.
I'll give it a solid A-.
Okay.
I was tired.
She is tired. I totally get it. So I give it an A. I give it a solid A. This was not my argument, and you can keep it there, baby. This was not my argument about the film. The film has gotten reviews when it first came out, and they were discussing the colorism.
Okay.
That there wasn't a lot, that the leads didn't have a lot of black, darker skinned Latinos, like Afro-Latinos in there. I wasn't looking at that.
Yeah.
I was looking at the story.
Yeah.
And I think he told the story, and I think I've seen all kinds of people, and yes, they weren't leads, but I don't think, me being an actress, and I totally understand that, sometimes in some instances, sometimes you just putting someone in the right fit for the right part.
Right.
Yes, because to see Corey Hawkins as a lead on there spoke volumes to me.
Absolutely.
And there was dark-skinned women all throughout. And that's unfortunate. I get it, but I still think Mr. Chu did an excellent job. And I felt the story, and the story was relatable to me. And it doesn't always have to be a black or a white or a light skin or a dark skin issue if people kind of start focusing on the story and all of the conscious messages that were sent. So my hat's off to you, Mr. Chu.
Yeah, I'd like to say some things on that too. I was kind of looking out for that because we have meetings and discuss things prior, and that was one of the things that LaDios had brought up. So I was kind of aware and looking for it, and I wasn't offended or hurt by or like, oh my God, there's a total lack of, and at the end of the day, I felt like it was being more authentic to the story. The only thing that wasn't authentic to the story is that I could very much tell that this tale was supposed to be set in the 90s, but the use of the cell phones were a little bit over the top for the era that they were trying to represent. That's the only drawback to that. But as far as I remember being alive during that time, is that there is, and this is just America, there's a little bit of segregation that goes here. That's just all that there is to it. Me growing up in Commerce City, that's almost like what that film was like, because there were, I would have been one of the brown girls dancing in the background, but I wouldn't have been a lead, because that's what my barrio looked like, that's just kind of representation. So I wasn't offended by that, and I just feel like sometimes we're in a place in society where people are just looking for some kind of issue to kind of complain about or take offense with.
That's unfortunate.
I think so too.
Because we're missing the messages. There's
like you said, watch the movie.
Watch the movie
Don't
go in, and don't get me wrong, because I am super I go through, but I look for messages in movies. I look for educational. I look for tweets. I look for things to learn. But to me, the movie was great. I gave it a solid A. We can't please everybody, but we can please a lot of people. So I'm pleased. So A forever.
Yeah, I'm pleased.
Good choice, Rav'n. Good choice.
Thank
Good
you,
choice.
darling.
Good choice. Any closing remarks?
Just thank you guys again for coming through and joining us. We love doing this, and we love that you watch. So thank you.
We love you, and remember, you don't have to be asleep to dream. So get up and get out and do something for yourself. I'm LaDios Muhammad, an actor with purpose.
And I'm Rav'n Moon, an actor with passion,
And
we are
actors
from the dark side.